If you're a Christian, you might not even know this, but they've programmed you to stay poor. When it comes to Christians and the church and preachers having wealth, the world has demonized it. If you look at many of the mainstream media networks, they make it seem like having money as a Christian is the absolute end of the world. If I was the devil, what I would want to do is trick every single Christian into thinking that having wealth is wrong. Because wealth equals influence. If you have wealth, you have a voice. If you have a voice, you have influence. If you have influence, then the devil can't do what the devil wants to do whenever he wants to do it in the earth. In case you haven't noticed, the only people that don't get pushed around when things happen in the world are people with significant wealth. That's because the Bible says a man's wealth is his strong fortress or his strong city. It actually says in the book of Ecclesiastes that money solves all things. Now, obviously, we know that money doesn't get you into heaven, and having a lot of money doesn't make you a good Christian. And we do know that there's the danger and the warning of falling in love with money. But I want to tell you this. Money is not the root of all evil. If you've ever heard that or you've ever said that, it's a lie. The Bible doesn't say that. The Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. So the world and the education system and the news platforms and the newspapers and social media and atheists and all of these people all over the world have convinced you that having money is evil, and it's not. Money is a neutral tool, just like a knife is not inherently evil. It depends who is holding the knife. A hammer can be used to do terrible things, or it can be used to build a beautiful home. It depends on who is holding the hammer. Money in your hand is a great tool. Money in your heart is a poison. It depends on the motive and the state of the heart of the individual who possesses the money. As a matter of fact, the Bible says in Deuteronomy 8 verse 18 that God is the one who gives you the power to get wealth. That power is to accumulate, to generate, to produce, and to attract wealth. And the best part is, it says in the second half of that verse, to establish his covenant in the earth. The covenant that you have with God in the earth is proved by the outward blessing of God. So how have they programmed you to be poor other than to get you to hate money? The public school system has trained you to be an employee. Many people will try to trick you and make you think that everybody is on the same playing field. Everybody should have the same amount of money. Maybe God is a socialist. Absolutely not. God is actually a capitalist. The Bible says it very clearly in the book of Matthew, chapter 25, that there is a parable of talents, and there are three different servants that are entrusted with different measures of talents. Two of the servants went and multiplied the talents by investing them. The third servant went and hid the talent because he was afraid. And the Bible says that God took the talent from the servant that was afraid and gave it to the ones that multiplied the talents. It doesn't say God took from the rich and gave to the poor like Robin Hood. No, it says God took from the wicked, lazy servant and gave it to the one that was working and that was diligent. But the public school system and this modern age will tell you everybody is equal. Everyone should be paid the same amount. No one has to work too hard. Work until you get old enough to get some money from the government. If you have a hurt shoulder, get on disability. Have the government take care of you. No, the Bible says the diligent hand will rule and the lazy person will be put to forced labor or slavery. Anytime someone else owns your time, being a boss or an employer or the government or wherever, you have become a slave to that person's time. You do not have time freedom. God promises time freedom, financial freedom. God's blessing on you makes you self-sufficient upon the reliance of God's blessing. So here's three practical ways to make sure that you don't end up a poor Christian. Number one, be a diligent worker. The Bible says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, all your strength. Give it everything you've got. You know, I remember 4 years ago when I started my YouTube channel. At first, I would dabble here and I'd dabble there. I'd put about 10 minutes of time here or an hour there, and I wasn't growing at all. But there came a time where I made a mental shift, and I got diligent, and I would work day, and I would work night, and I would work long days, and I would work long nights, and I would work 7 days a week sometimes. And there was very many nights I didn't have much rest. But then in 1 year, I grew from 0 to over 3 million YouTube subscribers because I was diligent. When you're diligent, you will always grow faster and go further than those that are lazy. Number 2, honor the Lord with your wealth. The Bible says in the book of Proverbs chapter 3, if you honor the Lord with the first fruits of all of your increase or your substance or your wealth, your barns will be filled with plenty and your presses will burst forth with new wine. I've made it my mission in life to honor God's kingdom and put my money where my mouth is, because Jesus said, where a man's treasure is, his heart will be also. By the grace of God, over the last 2 years, we've been able to give over $750,000 to other ministries worldwide for the advancing of God's kingdom. And because of that, the blessing of God is on this YouTube channel. The blessing of God is on my business. It's on my ministry. And I've seen it overflow in my life from doing what God promises in His Word. And finally, number 3, find a mentor. Get connected to somebody who has the capacity to lift you up higher in life. The Bible says in the book of Hebrews, be imitators of those who through faith and patience have obtained the promises of God. But equally as important, right before that it says, do not be sluggish, but be imitators. So when you find a hero or you find a mentor, you find somebody that you can hook your wagon to, they have the power and the ability to eliminate sluggishness out of your life and to lift you up and bring you faster and bring you further than you could get on your own. If you want to learn how to be a person of influence, I want you to click this video that's on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next one.